Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It is Thursday night, 9:39 p.m. It's actually halftime of the Baltimore-Miami game. Last I checked, Miami was driving down 14-6. Let's see if they scored. They did not score, and it is already Baltimore's ball.
Oh,
But
no.
they're about to punt two with 45 seconds in the half. 14-6 game right now. The Baltimore Ravens hopefully cannot hold on to this game, and by the time this is out, we learn that the Baltimore Ravens have fallen to 2-6. But I
Yes, that
am
would be
not
great.
crossing my fingers on that.
Yeah.
As this division that I was talking about could be the Steelers to lose. Guess what? They're losing it right now.
Yeah.
4-3 right now. They're still in first
Yeah.
place. Bengals did lose last week, but Baltimore's got Lamar back, and they got a schedule ahead of them that is not very tough. I'm very worried that the Baltimore Ravens are going to get right back into this AFC North race. But other than that, Lee, how you been? How you doing?
I've been all right. I'm doing okay. How about yourself?
Not too bad.
Yeah.
Better than the feel around Pittsburgh, the feel around
Oh,
the
I
Steelers.
know.
Sunday night was bad. You came on here. You gave 15 minutes of straight passion on
Yeah.
how you're feeling about the Steelers and everything like that. After the game, you weren't the only one to speak. Mike Tomlin had some things to say. And then once we talk about Tomlin, we can move forward into some comments from national guys, some comments from former Steelers, the local guys. And we'll cap it off with Tomlin on Tuesday and what he's saying. To me, I don't know what you're going to think about it, so I'll hold off on my thoughts, actually. Let's hear Tomlin first, and then go from there.
Congratulations to the Green Bay Packers on a victorious performance. From us, we just simply got to get a lot better in a lot of areas, in all areas, but some really specific areas that are critical to winning. We can't settle for field goals versus good people, and that was kind of an issue throughout. We got behind the chains some once we got into scoring territory, be it a penalty or a lost yardage play on first down, and it was uphill from there, and we settled for field goals too often. And you're just not going to win close ball games, man, when you're doing that. Thought we were highly penalized for the second week in a row. It hadn't been us, but it is us, and so we certainly got to address that, and we will. And then we're not winning enough possession downs on defense. We're simply not. I thought the 2 third-down conversions in the third quarter, field-flipping type plays, were significant plays. They were catalysts for drive engineering, the 2 touchdown drives or whatever in the third quarter. I thought we had them in, advantageous third down circumstances for us, man, and they converted. Not only did they convert, but they had chunk plays, and you're not going to win football games like that. And so
we got the offensive line not being as
that was Tomlin there. We're gonna pause it before we get into these guys here. So what really caught me a little off guard, but I mean, who knows? Tomlin's always got his own thoughts. He started by talking about the offensive performance in the game and the offensive not scoring touchdowns. I watching that game, I'm not blaming the offense for that loss. I'm blaming the defense and the way they came out in the second half. And then he seemed to also underplay the overall performance to suggest it was only really 2 plays by the defense that got them behind the sticks. But I don't know. My opinion is way off from what Tom was going on about, right?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, I think that the offense played well, especially last week in that game against the Bengals. You have a lead in both games up at half, and the defense cannot hold the other team in the second half of both of those games and have allowed them to score more points to where now the offense has to score more to try to keep up, but the defense isn't doing anything to help the offense, be able to keep a lead at that point, and it's very frustrating because, I'm surprised he didn't talk more about that, the defensive side of the game, because, you look at both the Bengals and this past game against the Packers. I mean, for some reason, they were doing well in the first half of both games. I don't know what changes at halftime with what was going on. I don't know what changes they made or what was said in the locker room at halftime, but they just fell off and fell short in the second half of both of those games. And I don't know. I mean, I thought I agree with you. I can't blame the offense here for these games. You know, it is the defensive side's play that, you know, that really messed things up in both these games.
Yeah, we got Ben Roethlisberger on a couple minutes with a clip where he talks about that second half adjustments and things like that. So we can hold off on that a little bit. But
yeah,
the other thing on the defense, that's where all the money is on this. All the cap space is going to this defense. So this defense was pegged to be historic, and now it's becoming historic on the other way. I don't know if you want to bring up what is their defensive ranking right now.
Real quick, highest paid defense in the NFL at $163.3 million.
Yeah.
That's where all the money is. You know, so right now our defense is right now they are ranked 30th in total defense, allowing 386 yards per game and giving up 19 touchdowns. Pass defense is last, 32nd, last in the league right now, giving up 273.3 yards per game and giving up 13 touchdowns. The rush defense is a little bit better, but it's still not that good. They're ranked at 18th, giving up 112.7 yards per game, giving up seven touchdowns. This is interesting because the past two games we haven't seen it, but they're ranked 11th in sacks with 22 sacks right now. Scoring defense is 22nd, allowing 25 points per game. Red zone defense is 4th with 50% defense red zone rate. Third down defense is 24th, which has been pretty bad because the third down has been pretty terrible. They're 41.8% on third down rate, and they're 4th in takeaways, which, again, that's something else we haven't seen. So that's where they're standing right now with their defensive rankings.
Yeah, even the good stats haven't been showing up lately, especially the last two games. Here's what the national guys said after the game. Where they were at with
like
everything.
That. So
talking about the offensive line not being as dominant as it once was. I thought they did an excellent job tonight on TJ Watt and Cameron Hayward and those guys. No sacks tonight.
They had a good plan for the outside rushers, and then when Wilson got in there in the second half and the run game picked up, boy, that second half, they scored every drive.
And for the Steelers, this is now twice in a row. Really, you go back to the Bengals game, and Joe Flacco was going right up and down the field. They weren't getting much pressure or sacks on him in that game. And now tonight, not much pressure or sacks on Love. So what is the biggest issue right now for Pittsburgh defensively?
They're just not playing dominant defensive football. Both games, they got ahead and gave up the leads because they couldn't hold it in the second half, and that's not like Pittsburgh.
So Mike Tomlin is a defensive coach, right?
Yes.
So what Mike Tomlin's going to have to do, coach, he's going to have to take a long look at every aspect of his coaches. The players, the coaching staff, everything, whether you're hustling, you're not hustling, you're missing tackles. He's got to take a look at that, coach, because what I see is disturbing. In the secondary, there's no communication. Deshaun Elliott is your one safety that communicates, and you lost him tonight.
Once he got hurt, everything fell apart back there.
The two-point conversion, you see guys running free, you see guys looking at each other with their hands up. For me, that goes back to the defensive coordinator. I don't care if you have to play only two coverages, you play those two coverages at 100% with no mistakes. And that's been the problem with them. They're letting guys run free.
Do they have the talent?
Before we go on, what are your thoughts on that first half from those guys? Anything stick out to you specifically?
No, I mean, I guess beginning with they were talking about how they were able to hold, Cameron Hayward and TJ Watt, because this is now two games in a row. There's been the pass rush has been just abysmal. There's nothing there. There's been no sacks going on at all, and they were able to hold those guys. And again, like Rodney Harrison said, Mike Tomlin is a defensive coach. I don't know what type of scheme is going on. I understand that he has a defensive coordinator in Terrell Austin, but I don't know if there's communication there. Of course, Deshaun Elliott goes down and gets hurt, and then it's like you would think that they would have somebody back up as the green dot, right, to be able to communicate and things like that, in the secondary and stuff like that. And
that's Patrick Queen. That's Patrick Queen.
Oh, okay. Is that Patrick Queen? Okay.
That's on the secondary. They're talking about communication with each other, before plays and everything before snap. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but there is communication in the secondary ever since, once Deshaun Elliott went down, like you said, there was nothing going on.
Yeah, I mean, but it's been an issue. It's been an ongoing issue, and I guess Elliott was out a little bit earlier in the season too, so that kind of plays into it too. But yeah, this has been an issue, an ongoing issue. Early in the season, the thought was, hey, these vets will get it together and figure it out. But the thing I took away from Harrison there was looking in the mirror and going back to the first part about Tomlin and him. The first thing him talking about is the defense or the offense not getting touchdowns, rather than. I mean, he's the defensive guy. He's a defensive coach. You'd think he'd come out with some fire on the performance from the defense, but to him, it seemed like he thought it was a couple bad plays, and that's it. And if the offense would have scored touchdowns, this would have been a different game. The offense scored 25 points. That's not great. And obviously, yeah, you want some more touchdowns, but like we've talked about, the money is on the defensive side of the ball. You can't complain about what the offense has done so far this season. I know it's not perfect or anything like that, but with what they've got on that side of the ball, I think that you can't complain about what they've gotten production-wise, right?
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, that's where the money is. These are the guys that are getting paid, the big bucks to be able to go out there. I mean, a lot of these guys wanted bigger contracts, wanted more money and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, now you got your money. How come you guys aren't performing now? You could say, oh, well, I've performed for so long, but you just got a new contract extension. You just got a new contract in general. And yet, you signed all these veterans and things like that are supposed to be very talented. Like you said, it's supposed to be a legendary, historic defense. And yet they are 32nd in pass defense right now, and it's like, how is that even possible?
Yeah, it's bad look right now for sure.
Yeah.
Let's finish up with the national guy.
In that secondary,
they've gotten older, man. I mean, they have some talent, but you look at Darius Slay and a tackle he turned down. He acted like he was completely scared to tackle the guy.
At about the 3-yard line.
At the 3-yard line.
Chance to stop a touchdown. Yeah, he did.
So it's just frustrating, especially when you're paying these guys that type of money.
Communication, man coverage, making plays. It just hasn't been there the last couple of weeks. 30-point games. I played defense here. We're not used to seeing that in this stadium.
And I look at their linebackers, Patrick Queen and Wilson. They're not very good. They're just not very good. If you run directly at them, Patrick Queen, he's not coming blowing it up. He's going around blocks. He's running around it. And then you look on the defensive line, T.J. Watt, Cameron Hayward, those guys are working as hard as they can, but they're starting to get older. They're starting to wear down a little bit. And you see it with Cameron Hayward. He's in his 15th season, and he's going to be a Hall of Famer, but he's wearing down, and that's what's going on with their defense.
Do you agree,
and it
Coach?
may be a little bit of fatigue because last week and this week, first half, okay, held them down. Then you give up 30 points in the second half.
Coach, they had 10 days off too, Coach. How can they be tired? That's my point. How can they be tired if they had 10 days off?
If you're Mike Tomlin.
Before they finish up there, I remember going into last week, we talked about that they almost had a mini bye here, and they had the time to prepare, everything like that. I mean, you can't complain too much about the prep because they were up 16 to 7.5, so they did show some kind of strengths that way, going that way in the first half. But yeah, they did wear down the Emmanuel Wilson, right? He comes in for Green Bay, the running back, and just completely demolishes the Steelers in the fourth quarter. It was very, very embarrassing performance that way. And then they talked about the tackling. It was the worst tackling I've seen the Steelers.
Yeah,
and that honestly, that's saying something because they haven't been having issues this year and the previous years. But yeah, they couldn't tackle Tucker Kraft. They couldn't tackle Wilson at the end there. It is a weird thing. What has happened? What is Steelers in general?
Yeah, I mean the tackling is, like you said, has been terrible. I mean, so many missed tackles this whole season. But that game was, like you said, it was probably the worst I've seen with the tackling. Missing tackles, not going after and tackling the guy. I mean, it's fundamental stuff that they're supposed to be doing in training camp and practice and things like that. And it's like they're not doing that out there on the field. It's like I don't know if these guys, maybe age is a factor. I don't know. But like Harrison said, they had 10 days off. How can they be tired? There could be fatigue, but they are a lot older. I mean, it is an older defense, a lot of older guys because there are a lot of veterans on there. They're not, young people out there. I mean, there's a few out there, but I don't know what is going on with, them being afraid to tackle or missing tackles and missing the fundamental stuff like that. It's insane.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Let me see what they have to say at the end.
Leaving this game, it's now 2 in a row. This one on your home field. We saw the second half went. Your biggest coaching points, teaching points, talking points would be what?
Is we can make a run, but we've got to get this defense going. Our offense is good enough. They're going to put points on the board. We get 25, we get 30 like we got last week. We can't lose these games. So defense, we've got to step up and we've got to make some plays.
Yeah, you got a bunch of veterans on that defense.
Got to challenge them.
All through on 3 levels, and it's got to be a sense of urgency. Yeah. And, I mean, for me, I'm out here and I'm disappointed because guys are blowing coverages. And you can't play 100%. You can't play if you're second guess and not knowing where to go. So, I mean, they need one leader back there making all the decisions, making all the calls and the checks and adjustments, and they just haven't had that.
Yeah, I think everything that was said right there at the end is just perfectly summarizes how most Steelers fans are probably feeling right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can go through some. I mean, their offense is good enough. I mean, it's not the best stats here.
Yeah.
Their total offense right now is 25th. With 297.1 yards per game. They've got 19 touchdowns. Pass offense is 19th, so in the middle somewhere. 202.9 yards per game, 16 touchdowns. Rush offense, isn't the best, but it's 25th. They're averaging 94.3 yards per game. They got 3 touchdowns. Scoring offense is 11th with 25 points per game, so they can put up some points. Their red zone offense is 3rd at 73.7%. Their third down offense is in the middle at 16. They're 16th with 39%. So they can do stuff on offense. They can put up points. They can move the ball down the field. It's the other side of the field where, like you said, where all the money is. They have to be able to stop the other team from scoring and putting up points because, when you do that, then the offense has to try to catch up to what the defense is lacking in.
Yeah. So here's the local 93.7 The Fan, their opinion on everything, what they had to say here.
Steelers defense to the 2023 Steelers offense, the one that got Matt Canada fired. Across the board, statistically, that offense was better than this defense. And that offense was a bunch of youngsters and Kenny Pickett at quarterback. This defense is a ton of vets, and they're making $160 million. They fired Matt Canada. They needed to engineer victory more fluidly, or whatever the hell it was that Mike Tomlin said. Why the hell does Terrell Austin still have his job? I thought a caller on the PM show yesterday made a great point. He said they should fire Terrell Austin so that everyone knows that this is Mike Tomlin's defense, and you sink or swim the rest of the year. And if you sink, see you later.
So, yeah, what are you thinking there? Is that how you're feeling here? Or, Terrell Austin's really not done anything that's been impressive since he got to Pittsburgh. I like the guy. I thought it was a good hire at the time, but it just hasn't been what it needs to be, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I kind of agree with that. I think they made adjustments, a couple years ago with firing Matt Canada in the middle of the season. I don't see why they can't do the same with Terrell Austin. Nothing has improved here with this defense, and now you have more veterans coming in, and you have the highest paid defense, and they're not performing and doing anything to benefit this team. And then I agree. If you fire Terrell Austin, you know that it's Mike Tomlin's defense, and if it doesn't improve, then you know that, hey, maybe it's time to move on from Mike Tomlin. You had a great run here. You had a great tenure. You were a great coach. You won every season. Had a winning season, things like that. But it just wasn't working out here towards the end, and maybe it's time to move on, at that point.
Yeah, maybe everyone got old at the same time, but what we were told, what we saw on paper was this is going to be a historic defense, and they have not put that on tape, that they're not playing like that. And if these guys are that good, it got to fall on the DC. And there should be at some point some kind of movement. Maybe you don't do it midseason. I can see excuses why you don't do it midseason. They are 4-3 and everything like that. But if things don't turn around quick, I think a move's got to be made. And this is the toughest stretch of the season. We talked about it already. They got the Colts this week, a 6-1 team who's just playing great on all sides. Their offense has been very great against the run, or running the ball and passing has been solid. It's going to be tough this week, but overall, I think a change will have to be made if adjustments aren't made quick enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, look at you could even look at Penn State. They fired their coach in the middle of the season. I mean, it's like, why, the Steelers did that with Matt Canada. I mean, if something doesn't improve here, I mean, you have to make a change. Something has to give at this point, because it is supposed to be historic. These guys are supposed to be some of the best defenders in the league with some big names and things like that, and yet none of them are performing to the names that they're given by the NFL and things like that, of how they're supposed to play and perform and things like that. And we're not seeing anything. We haven't seen any sacks in the past 2 games. We haven't seen any turnovers in the past 2 games. And they let old man Joe Flacco torch them 2 weeks ago in that Bengals game. And, of course, Jordan Love is one of the top elite quarterbacks in the league. But they were able to hold him to really 9 points in the first half of that game. And then they just let them score every drive. At that point, so it's like, what is something needs to get, something needs to change here pretty soon.
Yeah, here's Ronnie Houston talked about it. I mean, if you can't get the communication down, simplify things. He talked about specifically have 2 different plays you're going to run and go from there and play off of those. But I don't know if that's what the issue is with communication. But I mean, these are all veteran guys. It makes no sense to me that they can't figure it out in the back. So we got some reactions from the media. We got one more ESPN clip, but this is from Ryan Clark and his thoughts, and then we'll go into a couple podcasts from local guys. I'm going to let them run through all 3 of these former Steeler players talking about everything.
Go ahead, RC.
All right, sounds good.
I
don't want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, I know, but
like when did
the
defense is going to make you? When did the Pittsburgh Steelers defense become the patsy or the fish? When did teams start circling their schedule and being like, "Hey, man, we may be struggling against this defense and this defense, but look, this week we got the Pittsburgh Steelers." This game was about closing, and Marcus talked about all the time the Green Bay Packers won. Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers were losing all the one-on-one matchups, all the bust in coverage. And Terrell Austin is in this position where even though you have one of the highest paid players in the league, and TJ Watt and a future Hall of Famer, they aren't creating pressure without adding people to the rush. And so now you're putting the back end at a disadvantage. And think about saying this 3-4 years ago. A defense with T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slade, Joey Porter Jr. gave up 20 straight completions. There has been no answer for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the last 2 weeks against the run game, and then we watched Emmanuel Wilson be able to salt this game away in the 4-minute drill.
We are freaking cooked. We're cooked, bro.
That was not,
We're the 30th ranked defense in the NFL. We're the highest paid defense in the NFL. Those 2 things don't go together.
This is why I'm with you with the
defense,
Debo.
Sunday night. What the fuck are we doing?
The Pittsburgh Steelers, when I was there, and for as long as I can remember, were the best in the world, or one of the best in the world, at making halftime adjustments. As players, we were proud of the coaches at halftime. Great coaches that were able to make halftime adjustments. We didn't play well in the first half. They were going to make adjustments, and we were going to go on the second half. And as long as we executed and did what we were supposed to do, the adjustments made at halftime were going to give us an opportunity to win. As I'm watching these games, it doesn't feel like the adjustments are being made. Again, I'm not in the locker room. Maybe they are and the players aren't. I don't know. This is just my opinion. Now, is that coaching? Is it players? Is it adjustments? Is it lack of adjustments? I don't know. But it just feels like the second half of ball games, we're we stink. And I'm just asking a question: are we making the proper adjustments?
So there you go. 3 former Steelers, 2 former Steeler legends, giving it to the 2025 Steelers, and they're making great points. They're nothing to disagree with right there. I love the passion from Harrison there. He's saying the truth, and you can just tell there's a pride that there's both him and Ryan Clark have on that defense, and it just doesn't exist now. The Clark clip got a little ruined by ESPN's over. I don't know. The coverage is shit.
Yeah.
I would have liked to hear just Ryan Clark talk about it, but you had to have all the background noise and the giggling going on, I guess. But the all 3 guys made great points, I think, right?
Oh, 100%. I mean, this is not Steeler defense. And like Ryan Clark said, you used to be able to look at the schedule and be like, oh, we got the Steelers. This is going to be a tough game. And it's like now I think teams, like he said, teams are looking and they're like, oh, this is going to be a win for us now. And that never was the case. It never was the case in the past for this team. And it's like now these teams are looking at, oh, we can go right into Pittsburgh and, and just be able to win games. And then like Ben Roethlisberger said, we used to be able to see them make adjustments in the second half. I don't know what is being said in the locker room. I don't know what is going on. But from the past couple of games that we've seen, there hasn't been any adjustment going on. It's like they put their foot on the gas the first half and they let it go and they just try to play catch up at the end of the game. And you can't do that against, especially this stretch that the Steelers are going to be on right now. You cannot do that against these teams.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. So everyone's wondering what's going on with the Steelers. We heard from Tomlin after the game. I got him this week in his press conference, and honestly, it doesn't seem like his opinion's changed much, even after having a couple days to look back at the game.
As always, I'll start with a quick review of our last performance. As I said after the game, just really disappointing on a lot of fronts. But probably the most important component of it is we didn't put 60 minutes of football together. Felt like we were doing the things that we needed to do over the course of the first 30 minutes of action, although it wasn't perfect by any stretch. You're always a little bit concerned when you're settling for field goals when you're playing good people. It seems like touchdowns is how it gets done in our business at this level. And so it was a little bit less than comfortable at halftime settling for 3 field goals. I think those drives were stopped by penalties and negative plays on 1st and 10. Put us in some 2nd and long circumstances. We didn't perform very well in 2nd and long, not only in the first half of the game, but in the totality of the game. It produced a lot of 3rd and longs in the game. That's low percentage conversion rates for us. That's low percentage conversion rates for everyone, to be quite honest with you. We were in more 3rd and longs in that game than we're comfortable with, and I think we suffered the consequences of that, particularly as the game wore on. On the other side of the ball, I thought a couple 3rd down conversions in the 3rd quarter were significant, not only in terms of keeping us on the field and producing touchdown scoring drives, but I thought it just changed the texture of the day. They got 60 yards on 1 3rd down conversion. They got 35 on another. That's 100 yards on 2 plays, field flipping plays, touchdown drive producing plays. And I just didn't think we did a nice job recovering from those. First and foremost, you don't want those plays to happen. But after they happened, I didn't think we did a good enough job recovering from that and finding our footing as a collective football group, offense, defense, and special teams, in an effort to make the necessary plays over the course of the last 15 minutes to win the game. Regarding those plays, we certainly need to be better in 3rd down than we've been, but it doesn't necessarily mean dramatic changes in terms of schematics and things of that nature. If you look at those 2 plays, on the 60-yard play, the quarterback was hit as he let it go. And so it's details that are usually the difference when it's a millisecond. And on the other play, the roughly 35-yard play, he got outside the pocket on us and extended, and we certainly got to do a better job of keeping him constricted in the pocket, man, and getting 2 guys at the catch point down the grass. And that's one thing that we didn't do in either circumstance. We play a lot of man-free concepts. It usually gives us an opportunity to get two guys at the ball down the grass. We didn't in those instances, and it produced field flipping, drive producing, touchdown drive producing plays that really kind of change the texture of the ball game. But for us, we view all three phases as an opportunity to win. We didn't make the necessary plays in the three phases to secure victory.
So Mike Tomlin does not think that drastic changes are needed, despite everyone else in the entire world seeing that what's going on here. Mike Tomlin thinks just a few minor adjustments is what is necessary for this defense to fix itself.
I don't know what he's talking about. First of all, the third down defense is worse than the third down offense. For him to say that 2 plays changed the course of that game for the defense is a complete lie. Sure, those were bigger plays and things like that, but the defense is still on the field. They're giving up third downs.
And he's completely ignoring the fourth quarter touchdowns too. He's completely ignoring the 2 touchdowns they gave up. There were 3 touchdowns, but he's counting that the first one as a third quarter touchdown, which is fine because it was early in the fourth quarter. But there's still 2 more touchdowns after that point that the defense gave up. That he's like pretending those drives didn't exist.
Exactly.
And going off of your point, he mentioned the field goals with the offense. That's also on the defense. When you're playing teams like this, you need to hold them to field goals. And every drive, you're getting touchdowns for the Green Bay Packers. All the scoring drives are touchdowns, right?
Exactly.
If I'm not remembering wrong.
They scored. I think they scored a touchdown every drive.
They scored touchdown on every red zone drive they had.
Yes, exactly. And then for him to say, the penalty things. Well, the Steelers, I wrote this down too. The Steelers are 5th in penalties. They're one of the best teams when it comes to penalties this year, which is something we haven't talked too much about. They've only had 42 penalties this year. And a lot of the penalties are coming on the defensive side is what we've seen. It's not, and of course, they were very undisciplined in that game. There were some fights and there was some stuff that shouldn't happen because, of course, the Steelers have a bunch of divas on the team. It's just what it is. But, a lot of the penalties came on the defensive side. He's not acknowledging that as well. The Steelers had, and I messed up this up. I said the Packers had 9 points. It was a 16-7 game at half. They were up by 9 points, 2-score game. They could
as we're correcting things. Yeah, as we're correcting things, there were the final 2 scores for the Packers were both field goals. Just to be clear, there was a touchdown and then 2 field goals to end it after this. So I said 2 touchdowns. It was touchdown and then 2 more drives that ended in field goals. They also had 2 missed field goals in the first half that we're kind of forgetting about.
Yes,
so this defense wasn't playing that great throughout the game. They got lucked out on some missed field goals.
Exactly, and so I don't know what is going on. The statistical stats rankings right now is showing that the offense is way better right now than the defense. And, for him not to acknowledge, to say that there's not really any adjustments needed, he needs a reality check right now. Is he watching the same game that us as fans are watching? He's out there on the sideline.
Yeah, he's either not, or he's protecting guys that don't deserve the protection. He's just protecting the players on that side of the field, or they're protecting the defensive coordinator. Either way, it's just, come on. The standard is the standard.
The standard is the standard, and that's what it is.
Let the standard be the standard. So anyway, they got the Colts coming in. I called them 6-1. They're actually 7-1. They are 3.5 point underdogs. The Steelers are 3.5 point underdogs to the Colts at home. There's going to be no field issues. The Pitt Panthers are in California. They face Stanford at 3:30 Saturday, so we won't have to worry about that this week at all. What do you got here? 7-1 Colts. They're coming into Pittsburgh. Last week I said it was a big game. Obviously, this is an even bigger game.
Of course.
The Ravens, as we've talked, are now up 21-6 halfway through the third. There's no reason to think in any world that the Dolphins are going to come back. So the Ravens are going to be 3-5. You lose this game, after all the bullshit that the Ravens gone through, they'll be a game behind the Pittsburgh Steelers in the division.
Yeah, right now I think the Dolphins are chasing the Jets for the number 1 pick in the draft right now at this point. So there's no way that that's even going to happen for the Dolphins to win this game. I think this is going to be. I think right now is the turning point in the AFC North, and I had the Steelers with at least a winning record, winning season, and I think right now, just after that loss. The Bengals game was disappointing, but the way that they performed in this Packers game, I cannot give them any wins for the rest of the season right now. I just don't see any chance that the Steelers are going to win a game from here on out. And I
not
think,
even the Browns.
At this point, I don't think they know what they're doing. I don't even think they know what they're doing. The Steelers.
What about the Dolphins?
They might lose that game. I can't.
When you lose Lee Gamboro, you've lost the heart and soul of the Pittsburgh Steelers fan base.
I'm disappointed, and I'm hurt by this team because I'm such a huge fan, and they are not playing well. And now, with the way they're performing, I'm disappointed. And so right now, I cannot see them winning any games for the rest of this season. So that 3.5-point underdog, it should be a 20.5-point underdog. They're going to get blown out by the Colts in this game.
Okay, you have the Colts winning the game.
And I'm going to say big. I'm going to say big. I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to lose bad. It's going to be like 30-10. This game is going to be 30-10. They're going to get blown out. They're not going to be able to do anything.
Okay, so I want to reverse jinx and not do MVPs this week because they haven't been working lately. So let's not do that. But ready for it?
All right.
I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this
game. You know what? You might be a sucker. You might be a sucker.
I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game outright. Give me the points. Give me the.
You might be a sucker. You might be a sucker. I think. Let me tell you something. You're going to be so mad. You're going to be so mad when the score is like 52 to 15 at the end of the game. You're going to be so disappointed. They're getting blown out by the Colts. There's no way they're winning this game.
The Colts aren't going to be 15 or 16-1, right?
They might. Hey, they got a good
team.
Lose
some games.
They got the best. I think they got the best running back. They got the best running back this season right now. Jonathan Taylor is playing phenomenal.
Have you been seeing the clips of the holes the lines have given him too? The offensive line has been amazing for the Colts too.
They might have the best line in the defense, best line in the league right now. And to think that Daniel Jones was a bust with the Giants, he's playing like an MVP right now with the Colts. Hey, it's not the player. Sometimes it's the team. It's just what it is.
We're seeing that a lot lately. We're seeing that with him, Darnold, Baker,
Sam Darnold. Oh definitely. Baker. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. We're learning that there is some people give up on quarterbacks a little too easily.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Kenny Pickett, though, he goes from the Steelers to the Browns to the Raiders. So I don't think he's going to be one of the guys who finds his way.
Not at all.
But I hope he does get one.
Don't forget,
shot.
He was on the Eagles. He has a Super Bowl ring. He was on the Eagles.
He won a Super Bowl with the Eagles. That's true. But how about Minnesota? Had Darnold and Daniel Jones on the roster. Yes. Both of them go away, and now they're struggling to figure out their situation with JJ McCarthy and Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was playing with a torn labrum, I think. If I remember, something in his shoulder was for like 3 weeks.
I think he's out crying on the sideline. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, he got the surgery.
He's done now.
Everyone's like, he's mentally broken. No, his fucking body's broken. He's out there with a fucking torn labrum trying to.
I saw the highlights. He's getting tackled on his bad shoulder. You know what I mean? He's out there with the whole. He has a whole like robotic arm out there while he's trying to play the game, and he's getting fucking killed out there.
People are gonna give him shit. Anyway. Colts.
Let me tell
going to 7-2 this weekend. Pittsburgh Steelers are getting the win. If you don't believe it, you ain't a Pittsburgh fan.
Listen, I'm a Pittsburgh fan, and I think you're a sucker to think that they're going to win this game. They're getting blown out.
It is a 1:00 start on CBS. Just to clarify that, 50.5 is the over/under. You said they're going to lose big, 30-10.
Yeah. They're going to lose
30-10. So you're taking the under.
Look, the Colts might put up 50 points. They might put up 50 points themselves. The Colts. That'll make it. That'll cover
if
the.
They
that'll
put up
cover
50
the spread
points. Yeah, if they put up 50 points, you're firing Austin before noon on Monday.
You gotta fire him at the end of the game. You gotta fire him at the very end of the game.
Don't let him get in the locker room.
Mike Tomlin's press conference should be him firing him.
We have relieved
in front of the media.
We have relieved Terrell Austin of his duty. Oh God.
Boy.
Either way, we'll be here post game.
We'll be here.
Normal time.
Be here. That's it.
We'll both be here. I'll show my face. Everyone else, have a good night. Lee, have a good night.
Have a good one. We'll see ya.
Root on the Dolphins.
Okay. Let's go, Dolphins.
Yeah.